Hello everybody, hope you're doing well, and today we are going to be playing some Izzet Blitz. The reason why we are playing this deck today is because it made a top 3 recently at a pretty big tournament called the Final Pauper tournament, and it's very obvious that this Izzet version is pretty consistent and I can kinda see why. So let's start with the creatures. So because we play blue, we get access to the Nivix Cyclops, which basically we now have 12 creatures that get +3/+0 when we cast our spells instead of cards like Festival Crasher, which get only +2/+0. This might not seem like a lot, but I think it makes a big difference in the long run. The protection spells are also pretty interesting because now we can play Dispel, and obviously Dispel is really good. Not only it protects what we have, but it can interact with the opponent pretty well, for example if they are playing something like High Tide. The Ponders and Preordains are what really sold me, because the importance of digging through your deck with a setup like this seems pretty important. You know, if you need land, you can find land, if you need a protection spell, you can do that, and if you need a creature, you can find it as well. So you can keep hands which have no creatures, which basically reduces a lot of those mulligans as well, which I love in a deck like this. Not to even mention that if we cast Ponder, when we have a creature on the battlefield, the creature gets buffed, which is like 2-in-1, it's really amazing. The Anger, I'm absolutely in love with, it's a way to cantrip, and not only that, we can also give a creature Trample, which is pretty important to get our damage through. Because of the trample, I think, they have decided to play the Assault Strobe, which is basically very similar to Temur Battle Rage, but it doesn't give trample, but it costs 1 less mana, so they are really relying on their creatures to go through in the first place, or using the Ancestral Anger so that they can pay just 1 mana for the Assault Strobe. And for Mutagenic Growths, it's a free spell that buffs the creatures. You know, what more could we ask for in a deck like this? And the same is true for the Manamorphose. It's a cantrip, it doesn't buff the creature like the Growth does, but again, it's a free spell and we can use that to make some pretty explosive turns. The mana base is pretty cool as well. We play the Canyon here, which is a pink land to fix our mana, and more fixing is in the Escape Tunnel, which is not only a fixing but also a way to set up lethal. We can see decks like Infect play it, so basically we make the Cyclops or the Kill Fiend unblockable, and then we buff it with all the spells, making it a huge creature and it cannot be blocked, which is, you know, one more way to use the Assault Strobe, so we don't need to give it trample all the time. So this is a great setup, and let's take a look at the sideboard as well. So this Goblin here is what really sold me again, because this is a great way to protect the creatures. I'm not sure if it's super necessary when we are playing blue and we have access to counter magic, but this is basically a Goblin that we can sacrifice and regenerate a Cyclops or a Kill Fiend, so I can see the point, it's really cool. Lava Dart, it's a free spell. I think they sideboard this in against something like Elves or Fairies, or maybe even Gruul Ramp if they need to snipe the Arbor Elf, and then they can sacrifice a mountain to flash it back and buff the creatures once again, so this is really cool. Then they are playing for Pyroblast. This is really important against blue matchups like High Tide or Terrace or Fairy, so I can see that as well. And 3 Flaring Pain, so they really don't want to lose against Fogs and against the Prismatic Strands in White Weenie, so this is really cool. We usually see like 1 or 2, but in this deck they are playing 3, so they are really afraid of that and really came prepared. So let me know what you think about this deck, and I will see you in the games. Okay, so we got second here against Lolly95, and this hand is pretty incredible. With all the dig spells, we can find everything we want in our deck, so let's keep. We do have a creature as well. Okay, they go for a Blood Fountain. Okay, Swamp into Blood Fountain. This could be Affinity with a weird hand, but more likely I think it's like some grindy black deck. So we can go for an Island. Then I think we'll start with the Preordain, because yeah, I think I like that a little bit more. I don't love this spell, although it might be really important. The Growth is definitely useful. So I think we want the Dispel and the Growth, and then we will use the Preordain to scry the other Ponder on the bottom. So I will do top, and we will say no, so that we draw the Dispel and say go. Okay, we do find the Growth as expected. Now we can Preordain, and the Ponder is going to the bottom, and I sort of feel like the Blessing is pretty useful, to be honest. The Blessing is pretty useful. It seems like a mono black deck, which means a lot of removal and a lot of black creatures. So let's put that on top. We do need to find land next turn, hopefully. Let's play Mountain. We have 7 cards in hand, I go. They do decide to crack the blood token, and it seems like it's some sort of affinity indeed. They threw away a Mirror Enforcer, but it doesn't seem like there are many artifact lands yet, so we might be relatively safe for the time being. Okay, Dispel, interesting. So I think I'm gonna go for Ponder for sure. Okay, I do love an Escape Canyon. The issue is, like... Okay, we definitely want the Escape Tunnel, right? Not the canyon, but the tunnel. So, I actually like everything about this. Let's put it on top, put it on top, and put it on top. We will say no to that, because we want to have the Escape Tunnel, and we will crack that. Sadly, we will miss a land drop next turn. There is not much we can do about that, right? But that's fine. And they go for Black Mage's Rod. Oh, that explains a lot. So it's one of these decks with Black Mage's Rod. Okay. So we need to respect the token, of course. We will crack the Escape Tunnel. Pull up a, what? I think a Mountain in this case, right? Probably. And then here's a Preordain. So we could try to Preordain for a land, and I think that's actually pretty smart. Because I really don't want to miss a land drop, right? So we will take a risk here and try to Preordain for a land drop before we play the Cyclops. And here is an island, never punished. So sadly the Manamorphose goes on the bottom, although it doesn't have to, right? But it also doesn't really matter since no creature is getting buffed. So bottom this, top that, draw an island. And the question is, do we want to Cyclops here or should we wait? I'm for waiting. I don't think they are doing all that much. They seem to be missing some land drops. And we can protect the Cyclops with the Blessing and or the Dispel, which I feel like is much more important than rushing it out. So that's the reason for waiting here. They will hit us for 2 with the hero token from the Black Mage's Rod. And also, since they're playing this, it means a lot of non-creature spells. And which non-creature spells are in the black color? Well, mostly removal, right? So that's one more reason to be really careful about this as well. Vault Scourge, wow. You don't see this very often, do you? And Refurb, pretty annoying, but it's fine. What do we discard here? I think it might be one of those Dispels, right? Actually? Yeah, I think so. Let's discard one of the Dispels. Another Refurb, that's nasty, already in some trouble here. We discard the Assault Strobe because as one Chinese prophet once said, the more refurbished familiar you see in the game, the more difficult the game is. So now we see 2, and if we see any more, the game is basically over, right? It's very similar to Writing Chrysalis. Okay, they started finding their lines, which is good for them. It might be a little bit worse for us though. They go for a Wellspring. I like this deck actually, it seems pretty sweet. Okay, they attack with all the flyers, definitely a smart thing to do. Although it means that the Cyclops is ready to pop if we find something like a trample effect. Okay, another Cyclops. Yeah, this is still very scary, of course. I think we will go for the Cyclops here. I think that's the only smart play, because we could like Assault Strobe, and obviously if they don't block they are dead. But then like, what do we accomplish, right? They don't have the token, which is, yeah, a big advantage. But at the same time, we can't really protect the Cyclops then. So I think I will go for the safe route, play another Cyclops. And I really think this deck could benefit from Crash Through. I think the Ancestral Anger is great, but Crash Through gives trample to all of your creatures, which I think could be a very big buff to the deck. Okay, they go for another Wellspring, that's some good card advantage here. Especially if they manage to sacrifice it, which seems like the case here. They Insight, and I'm tempted to Dispel it. Because I don't think there's a 1-mana removal that, you know, fixes the Cyclops problem, so I'm for Dispelling here for sure. Of course, we will see if that's right or wrong here in a bit. Because if they have like, I don't know. Okay, they have a Blood Fountain, which means the Black Mage's Rod is doing some work. So they can attack with everything but the hero token, and I think they will take the very aggressive route here. Which means we might be able to win. We might have been able to win next turn, but I'm not sure if we had the blessing. Okay. Okay, anger. This is everything we need, right? So the problem is we can cast only one of those, right? So let's count the damage. We need 10. 10 and double strike. So let's kick things off with an Ancestral Anger. I mean, this deck can win out of nowhere, let me tell you. Like, it just randomly can win, right? And this is like kinda lethal already, right? Yeah, we can go Assault Strobe here. We always yield to this, which is 16, and then we can literally do Apostle's Blessing, give it protection from black, which is funny because even the growth would win, but we cannot do both because of the Phyrexian mana. Let's take black. And we win the first game. This is kind of crazy. This deck really wins out of nowhere some of the time. I kinda love it, to be honest. So, okay. Let's see what we need to sideboard. So, I'm not worried that there will be any damage prevention, but I'm worried there might be a lot of small creatures, so I'm for a Lava Dart here. With that being said, I think we will take away some of the Ponders. I like the Preordain a tiny bit more, I feel like. So we will take 2, and I think 1 more Ponder. I'm a bigger fan of Preordain in these decks than Ponders. I think 3 Lava Darts is more than enough. We will submit and see what we can do. This deck seems really powerful. It's well crafted for sure. And the Escape Tunnel really ties the deck together with the Unblockable on the Cyclops. So this hand is pretty okay. Obviously a lot of slow lands with the Escape Tunnels, but again it can result in a very quick kill with the Cyclops, so I'm for it, let's keep. Okay, they duress us, that's mean. I mean, one of the angers is gone now, which I think is something we can deal with though. Okay, Manamorphose is a very good draw. We will go for the Eroded Canyon, deal 1 damage to them, and say go. So duress, obviously very big enemy, because it can discard all the important non-creature spells. Oh, they have a Glade Fiend. This is a Glade Fiend deck. So I'm really glad we brought the Lava Darts. It would be nice if we could see one, but I'm for the Escape Tunnel here, because it's basically a tapped land, so we need to get this out of the way, because we played before we played the Cyclops, right? Okay, Lambus. Okay, Lambus is interesting in this deck. Do you think they're playing it because of some synergy or because of the life gain? Maybe it's a sideboard piece, I'm not sure. Although the Glaze Fiend is definitely something we need to worry about. It can get out of hand very, very quickly. Only for 2? Okay, I was afraid there is going to be a Blood Fountain, at which point this would be a 6-7. Wow. Okay, we sacrifice the Escape Tunnel at their end step, definitely bring on a Mountain. And it's our turn again. Another Cyclops, so we do have a lot of Cyclops here, which is good, because we don't have to be afraid of removal right now because of that. So let's bring out the... I think first, let's bring out the Nivix Cyclops here. Or Nivix, I'm not sure about the pronunciation still. So yeah, this seems like mono black Pugdoll, although I'm not sure if they play Pugdoll. It seems like more aggressive version, so I'm not sure if Pugdoll would even be good in a deck like this. Lambuses are definitely something that piques my interest in a list like that. Only for 2, we are getting a bit lucky, for sure. Okay, is this a removal spell? Yeah, it's a cast down. Well, we do have more Cyclopses, which is great because we drew a land, so we can use the Escape Tunnel as an unblockable mechanism. Let's pay 3 and go for another Nivix Cyclops. Okay, Black Mage's Rod is good for them, for sure. The Glaze Fiend is obviously getting really, really big, and this might be the first turn where they do double artifact. So the Glaze Fiend might actually be even bigger. You know, if there's like a Blood Fountain. Is that a cast down again? Oh, it's a Fanatical Offering, which again makes the Glaze Fiend surprisingly huge. Yeah, this guy pushed like what? Like 4 damage before, like 8 damage I think? This 2-drop dealt like 8 damage. That's pretty sweet. Nothing to sneeze at, if you ask me. Okay, end step, and I don't think there's much we want to do. The Canyon is cool. I don't think we will give our creature unblockable. We can go for the Anger though. See what we draw. Lava Dart. Oh, Lava Dart. Wait, hold up. They could be dead here if we draw correctly. So we can do it like this. We can go double red, red, red. Apostle's Blessing, okay. So, I mean, let's deal all the damage we can, shall we? This is 9. We can kill this, which is +3. Deal face +3. Apostle's Blessing, that's +3. I think this works, which is kind of crazy if it does, but let's do it. Let's Lava Dart the hero token. We can Lava Dart their face, which puts them to 18. This is 15. Oh my god, they are dead. They are dead. This deck is insane. Seriously, and I mean it. I'm not saying that just because. I feel like, let's pay for the blue. Let's just min-max this and deal as much damage as we can. This is, by the way, without the double strike, which I find even crazier. Let's go for protection from black, of course, if they have something like Snuff Out, although they would already play that. So, yeah, we can attack. And then we can flash back the Lava Dart to their face by sacrificing a mountain. And that's -1. That was crazy. Alright, so we go second against Cirque. And this end is pretty interesting. It basically doesn't have much action, but I think we can go with a Kiln Fiend and then hope we draw into something. Those protection spells are very valuable, so I think I will keep the island. Escape tunnel is sweet. We will go for a canyon here though. Another escape tunnel. They have contaminated landscapes like Esper. This already feels interesting. Do we think we could just play the Fiend and hope it survives? I think we could definitely try. I mean, this isn't a mana for a counter spell, and spell starter spec doesn't work, so I think this is kind of good. Prohibit or literally prohibit? Okay. Well, you've seen it yourself. Seagate Oracle. Oh, it's like FAMs. I see. It's like familiars. Okay, Assault Strobe is good. Like that. Let's go for the Cyclops. It's lethal next turn if they don't remove it, right? Fateless Looting, maybe, although in this one I don't think there's a space for it. I think in some versions it definitely is pretty good. Murmuring Mystic, sure. I think we win, right? If we probably win here. You can just give Unblockable and then triple buff. GG? Yeah. Yeah, okay. So let's Unblockable on the Cyclops. And then we go for... They could have like... Well, let's be careful. They could have like... Foil. Sometimes familiars play it. So let's go Preordain first. Okay, Ancestral Anger, Ponder. Let's bottom the Ponder. Let's top the Ancestral Anger though. Let's try to cast the Anger. You know, we are trying to bait the counterspell while we can. It doesn't seem like they have a foil, so we can go finally for the Assault Strobe. I mean, if they have held foil for this long, I mean, nothing but respect. Never mind, we win the first game, that's sweet. So, they have mostly counter spells. They don't have many 1-mana creatures, I mean 1-health creatures. So that's basically just Pyroblasts here, right? They could have like Prismatic Strands, so some Flaring Pains could be good if they have that, but we aren't sure if they have that, so... Let's go -1 Morphos. Minus some Ponders. Man, I like Preordain more than Ponder. Maybe it's just me though. And let's load up with some Pyroblasts, because that's definitely going to be necessary. They will load up with their Hydroblasts too. Let's go like this. Yeah, I mean, we know this deck is good, by the way. I don't know if you know Lolly, but this deck went top 3. It had the same score as the first and the second deck in a really big tournament. I like this hand, by the way, it's pretty good. Let's keep. It had the same score as the first and the second deck in a 164 people tournament, which is like, you know, that's pretty respectable if you ask me, you know? Okay, so I think we will go for the Canyon. It's possible we will, you know, they will play like a familiar or something, we might be in trouble, but I think we'll just go for the Canyon and it's fine. Okay, Azorius Chancery. This is fine. We have double Cyclops, which is also sweet. Let's play this and say go. We might attempt to counter some things here. You do have a Dispel as well. Combat, yeah, they definitely are waiting for the counter spells here. Another mountain, okay. Let's play a mountain, say go. That's a counter spell that's clear as day, you know what I mean? That seems like an absolute, like, complete counter spell fest here. Sorry, my dog has paid me a visit, so I think what can we do here is we can try to play maybe the weaker Cyclops, and then we can maybe dispel when they try to counter it, see if that works. It goes through. What? What? Sure. Alright, then. I mean, we have a lot of interaction, for sure. That's good. Yeah, it's funny to make a personal version. Sure, I'm all for, you know, to be updating decks that... Okay, 4 mana, what could this be? It's not like a Mystic, or... Oh, they will Ephemerate. Well, I think we'll just Pyroblast and be chillin', right? Evoke cost. If you do, sacrifice when it enters. Yeah, so... You can Pyroblast. And then the mana fizzles. Okay, they go for the Chancery. They have no mana, so I think we win the game, right? Let's go like this. Let's go for a Manamorphose. We will do a double red here. Yeah, this should be double red. Red, red. Cyclops, sure. 3-4, beautiful. If we do Assault Strobe into Assault Strobe, we are 1 damage off. But we can do Pyroblast for the win. So, like, that's why Pyroblast is better than Red Elemental Blast, right? Because we can actually target a thing that isn't blue. Okay, let's go to combat. We don't care that we lose mana. Okay, and let's Pyroblast. Let's say the land, which should secure us the win. Wow, very explosive, you know. They did one mistake trying to evoke the Drifter and instantly punished. Very, very strong. But it's 2-0 against what looks like familiars. We go first here against Lala 0. Let's see which hand we find. This hand is not bad because of the escape tunnel, so let's keep. Let's go for a escape tunnel. We will find a mountain from that guy. It's Tron. Hello. So hopefully we can be faster than the Tron decks. Let's search for a mountain. Okay, Dispel. Interesting. Say go. Oh, it's Flickertron. That's pretty suspicious. Are we willing to play the Cyclops here? I don't think so, right? I don't think we are willing to play the Cyclops, so let's just say go. They cracked the map. I'm not sure if they had Prohibit or not, right? Play another map, interesting. So they will have the full Tron here very, very soon. Okay, let's play an island and let's go for a Crackling Cyclops. Let's see if they had the Prohibit or not. Or I mean, not Prohibit. I mean, I guess this doesn't even get countered by Prohibit, right? So that's fine. Yep, cracking the map. Where do you play lands like Escape Tunnel? You play them in very aggressive decks that really benefit from having a creature not being able to be blocked. Like, for example, the power needs to be 2 or less, so it works amazingly with the Cyclops, it works amazingly with the Infect Elf, right? It works amazingly with many different things. Okay, Mnemonic Wall, that's, well, interesting. Yeah, let's see if we can kill them this time. Ponder. Should we start with a Ponder here? I think that's a pretty good way to start things off with a little Ponder. Maybe we can find like the double strike thing and then just win. That would be nice. What did they return, by the way? Did they even return anything? I'm not sure if they even cast the instant or sorcery. I don't think they did, right? It's just a 0-4 with Defender. Okay, they have said that they've been watching but close the Twitch. Very sportsmanship. I like that a lot. Okay, double anger. Does that do anything for us? I mean, it does a lot. Do you think we can win here from this? Oh, that's tough. I mean, can we make it 20? I mean, that's the only question. Okay, this is 1 damage. Let's go top. I want double anger though. I feel like that's good. Let's draw. Oh, I used the ability. Oh no. Again, I did it. I did the ponder thing. That's fine. Let's make double red. Hopefully we can win anyway. Okay, Eroded Canyon, not the best. Let's cast another Manamorphose. Yeah, I would love these angers. I missed like the ponder. Oh no. Let's go for red. Hopefully some action. No, I completely whiffed it. I mean, yeah, there's nothing we can do from this. We can just kill the wall and that's about it, right? We could give protection, but then we can't cast the Cyclops. We can't even go to combat before that, yeah. So that would be +5, +3, they don't have any instants. Man, they are so dead with anger if I didn't misplay. Okay, well, let's do it. Let's play the Navik Cyclops and attack for 9. Obviously a very big mistake, which couldn't happen in Pauper, right? But let's go for, I don't know, shall we go for the escape tunnel instead? I think we will go for the eroded canyon. Oh, if we had double ancestral anger, they are so dead, right? Yeah, with the blessing and growth. Oh no. It's a mess, yeah. If we use the blessing, like, they still wouldn't block, right? Seagate. Green, okay. The Fiend is good. Hold up, can we win here? So we can dispel 1 instant and give protection here. I think we win, right? Let's make one of those guys unblockable. This guy, for example. And let's try to give the other guy protection from blue, right? We might still be fine here. Okay, blue. Then we can go swinging. If they have an instant, we have a dispel ready, which is great. Then we can mutagen and growth one of those guys, it doesn't matter which one. Which triggers both of them, this is good. Yeah, we win the first game, that's great, even through the huge misplay, right? So, some flaring paints might be in place as well. Lava darts, I don't think they are even good. But I do like me some blue elemental blasts for sure. I mean, sorry, pyroblasts. Wrong color. So let's take off some ponders. And what I also think seems quite important is the ability to cast Flaring Pain. Let's get off with 1 anger, add 1 pain. Do we want a second pain or is 1 enough? I will say 1 is enough for now. We will see what they do, because obviously things like Moment's Peace are very, very good against us. What Tron will it be? This looks like Flicker Tron, probably. Yeah, definitely, with the Mnemonic Wall. That's definitely Flicker Tron. Okay, isn't this good? And it's quick. If we find the red source, this could be a very early kill. With the strobe, plus anger, plus mana. Yeah, that's like quick. So we will definitely keep it. It's a great hand. The Warning Triangle, no possible play yield all. It's pretty useful. So you know, the game is... Oh, this is good. So the game is quicker, but it's definitely not necessary, I would say, right? So we could take the safe route and find a mountain here and then preordain on some later turn. I think I will do just that, probably. We'll just go for an escape tunnel and I will crack that for a red. Couldn't have done that. Now they can have prohibit, right? Do you think they will have prohibit though? Let's find a mountain. Rope. I will risk it. I could also just preordain and find land. And then Cyclops next turn, which I think is maybe better. I think I'm for it. I don't want to rush here. Okay, this is good. Let's bottom the island. Let's stop the mountain. Sweet. Because if they counter the Kiln Fiend, then next turn we can't play the Cyclops. We would need to preordain first if we don't draw a land, which we would have. But we couldn't have known that, right? So Impulse, that's fair. Okay, second of the lands. Go for Prophetic Prism, which is good for us. We can play the Cyclops safely. Okay, Eroded Canyon, decent. Let's play the Cyclops. It goes through for sure here. Oh, Hydroblast, never mind. Okay. Yeah, they had that in their hand already, I feel like. Another Impulse. Yeah, I think we might be in a tiny bit of trouble here. But we'll see. I think I would love to find some Pyroblast for sure. Barcheek and his crew, welcome. So this could be another one. Yeah, I think I wanna Manamorphose first to see if it can find some interaction. Barcheek and his crew, welcome here. We can't. Let's try it anyway. Okay, this works. Yeah, we lose some mana, sure. Yeah, welcome everybody. We're playing some Pauper with some Izzet Blitz today. Deck that has surprisingly made a top 3 at the tournament, which isn't very usual for an Izzet Blitz deck, right? But this tournament there were 164 people and this deck placed 3rd. It actually could have placed 1st because it had the same score as the previous 2 decks, so very powerful. Okay, here comes the Murmuring Mystic. It might be a game 3 angle depending on what you draw. Ooh, cast down as well? Jeez. Okay, let's go to game 2. Game 3, I guess. So game 3, we just need to find our Pyroblasts and okay, since they've cast down, I will take away 1 Pyroblasts and add 1 Dispel, because of course Pyroblast doesn't really work against that, right? Okay. I'm not sure if this is a bug or if this is how it's supposed to look, but yeah, it's weird. Yeah, this is probably not how... Oh, it's because they are thinking about the sideboard. Here we are. Okay, that's fine. Is it my fault? Oh, I was the one who didn't submit. Interesting. So we went the die roll. Let's see which hand we find. Pretty good, pretty fast. We definitely keep this. On the play, I think there is... Well, there is a way how they can counter us with Island into Hydroblast, but let's keep. This seems pretty good. Of course, they can Hydroblast later as well. We will start with the Escape Tunnel. We will find a mountain from this. Always good to play the quote-unquote tapped land first, right? Seagate, good. Green? White. Alright, white. Interesting. Let's go for a mountain for sure here. Cyclops, decent. We will go fast with a Kiln Fiend. Maybe? I'm not sure. Okay, so Assault Strobe into Apostle's Blessing does exactly what? It does... This is 4, so 8 plus 3... 2 plus 6, that's 14 damage. Not enough for sure. Which means let's just do this. Then play Escape Tunnel, say go, chill here. We have 2 Apostle Blessings, so I'm not so afraid of this dying. Yeah, only 14, yep. Only 14. Okay, Impulse. Well, this could be lethal then, right? 4, 7, 10, that is probably a kill. Okay, Expo Map, it's a kill, right? It has to be. Okay, end step, we search a mountain. Search for a mountain, rather. Okay, Flaring Pain isn't necessary. So what we'll do is we will Assault Strobe first. They're asking if they're dead. That's really funny, actually. Look. I think the answer is yes. Let's give the protection against blue. And then if they pack something like a Snuffle, I mean, they can't cast it, right? So it's fine. But let's do black. And that's 20 damage turn 4. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, obviously pretty insane deck. That was 2-1 against a Flicker Tron, and I misplayed very heavily game 1 and maybe a little bit even game 2. Alright guys, so I'm back with the conclusion, and I have to say this deck felt incredible. I absolutely get why it made a top 3 at such a big tournament. Splashing blue is great, the Escape Tunnel felt so good in a deck like this, we killed so many people with it. The protection with Dispel was also really notable, I loved it. The cantrips were as well. Simply to choose the cards you need is a big privilege, and so Ponder and Preordain do that really well. And the Ancestral Anger, I loved it, but I think it could be replaced by Crash Through, which basically doesn't target the creature, but it gives all of your creatures trample. They don't get the attack bonus, but you still draw a card. It's still a 1-mana sorcery, so I think that could be a really good replacement. So I will maybe try that in the future. And of course, splashing for the Cyclops as well, it's a big deal. I mean, if your creature gets +3/+0 instead of +2/+0, it matters, and it matters a lot. And the same is true for the sideboard. I did love the sideboard choices. The Goblin was the questionable one in my opinion, because I think you could play Summoner Protection in terms of the Apostle's Blessing and whatnot, but I think it's not a bad choice and definitely a cool thing to experiment with. The Lava Dart was incredible against all of those small decks. The flashback cost made sure we killed some people as well with all the buffs that go with it. And the Pyroblast is also very powerful against blue decks. There are a lot of those in the format right now. And Flaring Pain is also really powerful. Basically, it's the only chance you have against decks like Mono White Weenie and their Prismatic Strands and or the Turbo Fog decks. So I think the Flaring Pain is a great choice as well. So let me know what you think about this deck and what would you change and if you would play it yourself, and I will see you soon. Bye.